By the end of this video, you're going to learn about my entire chest day routine and my thinking behind it. You're also going to learn how to build a success-oriented mindset and how to get anywhere you want in life and achieve any goals that you have. So let's get started. So we're going to discuss in this video the importance of staying consistent and building a success-oriented mindset. We're also going to discuss the importance of proper nutrition, my weekly split, the reasoning behind my weekly split, my actual chest day routine, the reason behind the exercise choices on my chest day routine, and the reason behind the order that my exercises are laid out in on my chest day. So let's get started. Throughout the duration of this video, I'm going to keep the video overview on the side on these slides, just so that you know where we are in progression during the video. It'll be easier to follow along and maybe organize your thoughts a little bit better. So I hope that will help. So let's start with a very important question. Why should you listen to me? I started from the beginning while knowing absolutely nothing. So I started basically as a small kid, right? And then I became thin. And then from being thin, I became jacked. You might think, well, Eli, don't you realize that basically everyone who's jacked nowadays, they started from basically that same spot? And I would say yes. Most people who are jacked nowadays started from either being small, fat, thin, whatever it may be. That just makes sense that you would start from nothing to get to something. But I would say that the thing that sets me apart from the crowd is that, I didn't start out at the beginning wanting to, get as big as possible and throw around heavyweight and ego lift or whatever, right? More of a gym bro mindset that would be. And I didn't start out in fitness and dieting having that mindset. I started out and I approached fitness and dieting from a very scientific standpoint, right? So I went into it knowing I wanted to actually learn all the in and outs of fitness and dieting. So I didn't want to go into it just thinking, yeah, I'm going to get as big as I can and, throw around heavy weight and, and get the heaviest bench press that I can. That wasn't really the thinking. I wanted to go into it with a very scientific mindset, wanting to actually learn all about it. And then hopefully one day to educate others about it, which I hope to do right now, right? So I approached it in a very educational way rather than a common gym bro way. And by doing that, I started out doing research immediately. So like right when I wanted to start, I went right into doing research. And that was by watching YouTube videos, reading websites, reading articles, testing out courses and products. Along with doing that research, I also took action immediately. I didn't have the mindset where I've got to know everything about fitness and dieting before I actually get into the gym. Like that just doesn't make sense, and that's like really stupid, right? That just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And that's where you're going to learn the most, is taking action and getting started and getting that initial experience. I started doing research immediately on the computer, but at the same time as when I started doing research, I took action and got in the gym immediately, right? And that's how I actually ended up learning the most, when I took action. Certainly, I did get a lot of value from doing research online. I would actually highly suggest that you do that. You do your research online. But also, more importantly, I would suggest that you take action. Taking action and getting experience in the gym should be your number one priority. And that's how I learned everything that I did. Also, I have over 5 years of fitness and dieting experience. And I also feel like I do have the results to back up my words. That's, I think, why you should listen to me and what I have to say. So we're going to start out with not only the taking action part, but what do you do once you take the action, right? So that's going to be building a success-oriented mindset. And that's only going to happen by staying consistent with your goals and your work, right? So, once you take the action, you've got to now stay consistent with the action. And I think of the whole staying consistent plus the success-oriented mindset as a cycle. So by taking action, that's the initial step. And then now you've got to stay consistent, which will start building that success-oriented mindset for you wanting to do more and more work and work harder and harder. You'll really start realizing that you want to keep working rather than relaxing or chilling out, so to speak. You'll prefer to work hard than sit back and relax. And that's that success-oriented mindset starting to form. And then once you start to build that success-oriented mindset, that'll make you want to be more consistent, work hard, like I just said. And that's how that cycle is formed. So you take that initial step, that initial action, and then you take the action and you have to be consistent. So you can't just take action and stop. You have to take action and then continue working harder and harder every day. And that consistency of working harder and harder every day is going to lead to you building a more success-oriented mindset. So consistency leads to the success-oriented mindset, and that success-oriented mindset leads to you being more and more consistent. And that's how the cycle repeats. So more on the success-oriented mindset and the consistency sort of thing. You need to have a set list of goals in mind. Whatever that is for you, whether that's daily gym sessions or having a nutritious diet. The most important thing is actually having a schedule every day. So that's on this list as well. And then meditation, journaling, business, academics, whatever it is for you. In this video, obviously, we touch more on the fitness and dieting part of things. That's going to be more of an emphasis on this video. But like I said, you can pair that to just about anything you want in life. First, I would suggest that you set daily goals for yourself, taking everything day by day. At first, when you're starting your success journey, don't think too far into the future. Set daily goals for yourself. And then from there, you can start setting weekly goals, monthly, yearly. But at the beginning, you need to set daily goals. Having those goals in mind will lead to you making a daily schedule. So that's kind of how we refer back to that here. And the reason you really want to have daily goals instead of yearly goals at the beginning is because it'll seem a lot less daunting. Let's say like your yearly goal is like to make $10,000. That's a big number at the beginning, right? That's a very large number when you're starting out. Instead of that yearly goal of $10,000, a better goal would be, all right, today I want to get a sales page done for my business. Sure, that would work. That would be a good daily goal to get started on. Once you have that done, then your next daily goal could be setting up your first course page or whatever it is for you, whatever your business is. And like I said, it's a lot less daunting and it's a lot easier to visualize. Let's take Tom Platz's leg day, for example. He would do like a set of 30, maybe a set of 50 reps of squats. One set, 50 reps or so. And he would say that you don't want to look at it as 50 reps. Look at it as 10 sets of 5 reps. So he did that set in increments of 5 reps because he said it was a lot easier to visualize. Like we're talking about here. It was a lot easier to visualize and a lot easier to comprehend. 5 reps, 5 more, 5 more, 5 more, 5 more. That's kind of what we're talking about here. The daily goals is like each 5 reps. Once you reach that yearly goal, that could be a set of squats done, if you want to look at it like that. So daily goals at the beginning, taking everything day by day, is going to be easier for you to visualize and build upon. And that'll lead to you having a schedule like we have pointed right here. Once you have those daily goals in mind, the next step is to create actual plans to achieve those goals. So once you have those goals in mind, now it's time to take action. For example, for me, at the beginning of my fitness journey, I had the goal of having a 6-pack. All right, my daily goal today is doing a quick ab workout in my basement. So that would be an example of me having a goal in mind and then making a daily goal and then creating a plan. So that's sort of a good example of this blueprint right here actually being acted out. I've done all of this and I know that it works. Like we already said, taking action and stay consistent with these goals is going to be the most crucial, but also the most challenging step. And this step right here will either determine your success or your downfall. It's all up to you. This is the most important part of the whole success, taking action and staying consistent. So this whole slide right here, this blueprint that I'm describing right now, can be summed up with taking action and then staying consistent on that action. We just broke that down in this slide. That's all we really did. But I hope that's easy to understand. In order to delve even deeper and learn all about the success-oriented mindset and what you need in order to be successful and achieve any goal that you want in life and the proper nutrition you need in order to accelerate your muscle growth, I would highly suggest that you check out my guide, which is linked below and under my profile. Obviously, you can continue to watch these videos. I will still try to provide as much value as possible, but there is only so much value that I can fit into one video. So I would highly suggest that you go get this guide. I included every single thing that I know about fitness and dieting into that guide. Moving on. So I kind of wanted to start out this video with talking about the whole taking action, staying consistent, and developing that success-oriented mindset before we started on the fitness and dieting aspect. That success-oriented mindset and staying consistent and taking action is really the most important part of everything. So that's why I wanted to start with that. Now, let's get into the importance of proper nutrition. So this is actually what's going to facilitate your gains happening in the gym. Without this, you might as well just not go to the gym. So let's start off with calorie consumption. So calorie consumption really depends on what your specific goals are in the gym, currently. So if you're bulking up for optimal muscle growth, I would suggest you stay in around about a 500 calorie surplus, which means you're eating 500-ish more calories than you burn. And that 500 number is really just a range. So some days you might be, in a 300 calorie surplus or a 700 calorie surplus. That's considered to be in the range of around 500. So just try to stay in that range every day. Aim to eat about 500 calories in a surplus for bulking. And then for cutting down on body fat, That's basically going to be the exact opposite, and you're going to stay in a 500 calorie deficit, which means that you're going to eat 500 calories less than what you burn per day. I would say that calories is the main thing when it comes to nutrition. But second to that is going to be your protein consumption. So that's going to be eating 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. So that's just to put on the optimal amount of muscle. And honestly, it makes you feel pretty good physically to be having that much protein in your body at all times. Anything more than that can be unnecessary. Anything less than that obviously is suboptimal. So let's say you weigh 170 pounds. Then you need to consume about 170 grams of protein every day. Then for water consumption, just aim to drink about 1 gallon of water per day at least. So that's really the importance of proper nutrition. So yeah, let's get into my weekly split now. So my weekly split is day 1 being chest, day 2 is back, day 3 is shoulders and arms, day 4 is legs and abs, and then after that, if I need it, on day 5, I'll take a rest day. And I put optional rest day because I don't take a rest day every time that it gets to this point. I probably take about 2 rest days per month. So, I'm working out 28 days every month-ish, if we count months being 30 days. And then after that, I'll repeat the process. Now we're going to discuss the reason behind the structure of my weekly split. There's a few reasons why I have this weekly split built the way it is. First, it's because it allows optimal time between training sessions. And so basically, what do I mean by that? Well, on chest day, which is what we're going to be discussing in this video, not only is my chest being used, but so is my shoulders and triceps. So it's a good rule of thumb to leave 48 hours of time in between the time that you train your muscles. So let's say I hit chest on day 1. My shoulders and arms are also being included in that. I want there to be a 48-hour gap in between the time I do chest and then the time I do my shoulder and arm day, which is exactly how I have it laid out. Day 1 being chest, and then day 3 is shoulders and arms. Leaving 48 hours in between the training sessions is just a good rule of thumb for muscle recovery, and then the same goes for back and legs. On back day, I do deadlifts. On leg day, I do squats. Both of those movements use similar muscle groups, so I need that 48 hours to actually recover those muscle groups that are being used in both of those movements. So yeah, that's reason number 1. So then it also allows variability during the week. My weeks never get too boring because I'm always training different muscles every day. Chest, back, shoulders and arms, legs, abs. That's a lot of different muscles that I'm training, and that's a lot of different movements that I'm doing. So the week is always staying kind of interesting and never gets too boring. So that's another good reason why I have this split. And also, every muscle group is hit twice every 8 days. Like I said before, that's obviously assuming that I didn't take a rest day during those 8 days. The most important part about this weekly split, beyond everything I've said already, is that I see incredible growth using the split. My muscles have grown faster than they ever have before while using this 4-day split. And a good side note, this right here, this reasoning behind the structure of my weekly split, is a perfect example of the importance of taking action and seeing what works best for you. Because if I sat at my computer all day and just did research and watched YouTube videos and read articles about everything, I wouldn't be getting that experience that I keep talking about. And I would never know that I prefer this 4-day split over the push-pull leg split. Those things you can only figure out by going to the gym and actually taking action and getting started. So now let's get into my actual chest day routine. Right now I'm just going to tell you what the actual routine is. Then later on in this video I'll discuss why I chose those exercises to be in my routine, and also the order of the exercises and why that's important. On my chest day routine, I start out with flat bench press. All the bench press that I do is with barbells. I used to do it with dumbbells, but I actually started preferring barbells. I don't know why. It just felt better to do. Another good reason why taking action and getting that experience is important. I would never have known that I prefer barbells over dumbbells if I just did research on my computer all day, right? So another reason why taking action is so important. So I do 4 to 5 sets of flat bench, and then everything else is just 3 sets. So then I'll move on to incline bench, and then I'll move on to cable flies. I will do a cable fly on an actual like an incline bench, or maybe like one of those gym chairs sort of thing, one of the padded chairs. I'll sit on there and I'll just do mid cable flies. So not necessarily high to low or low to high, but I'll kind of do them in the middle so that I can get my full chest activated. And then after that, I'll move on to dips. But as of right now, I just do dips body weight style because my chest is already pretty fatigued. And this is actually a pretty newer chest day routine. I mean, I started probably doing this a couple weeks ago. So this is pretty new. Just to go over it quickly again, flat bench press, incline bench press, cable flies, then dips. Flat bench press is 4 to 5 sets. Everything else is 3 sets. Let's move on to discussing the reasoning behind these exercise choices on my chest day. I guess the main point is that, they feel good to me. That's kind of always the main point for the exercise choices, is they feel good for me to do. I actually feel a lot of tension, a lot of stretching in the muscle, and there's really no pain involved in doing these. Flat bench press, it grows the chest effectively, but honestly, more importantly, it helps with general upper body strength. So a flat bench press with a barbell is going to be one of the best compound movements in the gym for targeting your upper body and growing that upper body growth. It's a very compound lift and it's very strength based. I would say mainly the reason I do flat bench press is to build my strength. But then moving on to incline bench, that one is my favorite chest workout, which is scientifically proven to grow the chest just as good and sometimes even better as flat bench. So incline bench is what I use to grow my chest mass. Flat bench press is for strength mainly, and incline bench is mainly for growing the mass of my chest. Then after that, I'll do cable flies, and this is because I like to do pressing movements as well as some flying movements during my chest day as well. So it just so happens that cable flies are my favorite flying movement. I like to do them seated on an incline bench because I just feel them really firing my chest muscles. Also, a reason why I prefer to do pressing movements as well as flying movements is because I like to target the chest in varying different ways, just to make sure the chest is fully targeted. Some people might prefer to do just pressing movements, maybe even just flying movements. I kind of like to mix the two. Again, wouldn't have known that if I never took the action on going to the gym. Dips I end with because they're honestly just a phenomenal upper body exercise and just destroys the chest, especially ending the workout with dips. It's just phenomenal. The pump is great too. So that is the reason behind my exercise choices on chest day. Now let's get into why I chose the order of the exercises on my chest day. So the main reason behind the order of all of my exercises on chest day is the idea of energy expenditure. So how much energy am I actually using on all these exercises? So I start off with the pressing movements because they are going to be the most compound movements on chest day. Consequently, they're going to use the most energy on chest day. So I start with flat bench press because it uses the most energy out of everything. That's because it's very compound. It uses a hell of a lot of muscles to perform the movement. And I also happen to go very heavy whenever I do flat bench press. It is the movement that I do to target strength growth. So in order to grow strength, you're going to have to lift heavy. That's why I start with flat bench press. And then incline bench press is a very close second. It's also a very compound movement, just like how flat bench press is. So instead of strength for flat bench, I do incline bench to get a bigger chest rather than stronger. Obviously, strength and size will both happen on flat and incline, but flat more targets the strength and incline more targets the growth of mass. And then I end the workout with doing cable flies and then dips. But to be honest with you, they're both very similar in movement. If you think about it, a dip is sort of like a fly. For my personal preference, I think they could be interchangeable. I don't think it really matters whether or not you do cable flies or dips first. If you were to do my chest routine, it just so happens that I do cable flies and then dips. That's just how I do it. The main thing about cable flies and dips is that they equally take about the least amount of energy to do on my chest day routine. So that's why I do them last, and they could be interchanged. And if you're interested in seeing a bunch of different options or templates for different workout splits that you could be doing, I would highly again suggest that you go get my all-in-one guide, which is linked in the description as well as under my profile. This guide's going to include all the best exercises that you have to choose from and how to implement them into all different types of templates and splits in order for you to get a good idea on what you can try out in the gym. This slide is another example of the importance of taking action and actually figuring out what's best for you. I wouldn't have known, everything discussed on this slide if I would have never taken that initial action and got into the gym and got the experience. So that's the reason behind the order of the exercises that I do on chest day. I think it'd be time to recap on what we've learned today. So we recapped on discussing why I think you should listen to me and kind of my own story of my success journey on the fitness and dieting side of things. Then we went on to discussing the importance of taking action, staying consistent, and building that success-oriented mindset. And then we discussed proper nutrition and how proper nutrition, the most important part of fitness and dieting, because if you don't have proper nutrition, then you can forget about the fitness part of it. Then we went on to discuss my personal weekly split and the reasoning behind the structure of my weekly split. And then we talked about my chest day routine and then the reason behind the exercise choices on my chest day routine. Then we ended off with discussing the reason behind the order of all my exercises on my chest day routine. But I think the main idea is, the idea of taking action and then stay consistent on those actions, which will build your success-oriented mindset, which will lead you to actually achieving your goals on your success journey and becoming officially successful. So yeah, that's the most important part. If this video was helpful to you in any way, and if you found value in it, be sure to give me a like. It'll show me that this video was actually valuable and that you enjoyed it. So other than that, you can subscribe. It's completely free and you can change your mind at any given moment. With that being said, hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next one. Take care.